All right, gentlemen. As requested by Nathan, this is my poolside power rankings video because I am on vacay in tropical Grand Cayman right now. Week 12 is in the books, and a devastating personal Week 12 it was for me, losing to Vladimir Tutin. But that was not the case for six of the people in our league who picked up wins. Congratulations to John on his first one. Rory and him split the season series now. But anyway, that is not what this is all about. Today is about power rankings and Week 12 power rankings. And looking at a few things came to mind this week. So one of them was Jahmyr Gibbs scored 55 points. It still wasn't enough for the win, but it absolutely should have been. If you have a player who scores 55 points, you should basically be guaranteed the win. Most points ever scored by a single player this year. Anyway, it got me thinking back to 2 weeks ago when Josh Allen put up 40 points on me and did absolutely take the win. So this power rankings will be based on, I'm calling it X factors, but essentially those guys on your team who can just go absolutely off in a week and score. I took 30 plus points and just win you the week basically. So what this is a 12-1 as per usual, and it is how many players on your team at some point this season, obviously not all in the same week, that would be absurd. That would be like Ross this last week scoring 225 points. How many players on your team at some point have scored 30 points? Now, some of these guys have been traded. Doesn't matter. It's based on the team that they're currently on, and we're going from there. So, without further ado, actually no, just real quick. As per normal, your headshot will pop up in the top left corner. The player that has scored you over 30, but the most points on your team that scored over 30 will be in the top right, and then across the bottom, there will be other players in order of how many points their max points scored in a week will be across the bottom. So now, without further ado, number 12 is John. What's that number? Less than, not a single player on John's current roster has scored 30 points one time. Yeah, let that sink in. One time. John, there is a reason, and I cannot believe that you beat anyone ever, but not a single player has ever scored 30 points. Anyway, we will not dwell too much on that, but we will dwell on Rory. Rory has one guy, Jared Goff. I believe it was week 2, 33.66 points. Keeps Rory into 11th place. One guy. But that was all it took to beat John. Just not this week. Also, only one guy. Believe it or not, Ryan, who is currently in a playoff position, only Bijan Robinson has scored over 30 points in a week. I don't know what that says, given his current record, but he scored 35.8 points, and I believe he absolutely went off and won him the week. And that's what this ranking is about, but still leaves Ryan in 10th place. Pierce. He had two guys. I believe that's Michael Wilson. Don't know who that guy is, but he scored 33.5. Wan'Dale Robinson, he scored above 30 as well for the Giants, and for Pierce. And that brings up to 9. So the tiebreaker here, sorry, should have clarified, if you have the same amount of players who have done it, it's whichever one has the highest overall score. So we'll look back here. So 33.66 was for a single for Rory. Ryan also only had one, but it was 35.8. So Pierce has 2, but his highest score was only 33.5 versus Chris. Also has 2 people. Malik Neighbors, before he went down, scored 38.7. Awesome week for him. And, my boy Joe Flacco, always picking up Chris's team. and scoring over 30 for him as well. That leaves Chris in ninth place. Moving on to the threes, and it pains me to say this, that Ross only has 3 guys who have ever done this. Obviously, Chris McCaffrey's an absolute stud, putting up points every week. 39.1 is his highest. And then the dynamic Dallas duo of George Pickens and Dak Prescott are your other one, who also scored over 30 points. I know Matt has felt the pains of this duo on a particular Monday night game, so I will not dilly-dally here very long. Also with 3 is Leighton. Trey Tucker, 40.9 points. I don't think he scored over 10 since, so he's very much a one-hit wonder, but absolutely an X factor who clearly can score over 30 points in a game. And then Leighton picked up Sean Tucker either after his monster game, or if he did it before, kudos for the Bucks. Just went off over 30 points there. And Devontae Smith, believe it or not, also scored over 30 points on the Eagles offense that is terrible in general this year. Moving on up, the aforementioned Josh Allen 40-point game that gave him the week over me 2 weeks ago. A guy on the bottom of the screen here, Rico Dowdle, he was his second best point scorer that week with 15, and he was still able to knock me off because Josh Allen had 40 points. Rome Odunze and Jamar Chase are his other 2, so he's up to 4 players who have done it at least once. Again, some of these guys have done it multiple times. That leads us to Colin. Colin is our first guy with 5. 5 for Colin. Devon Achane, Ashton Genty, who I know was picked up post his 30-point game, but it still counts for him because, I'm not keeping track of when you guys trade these things for these videos. Tet McMillan, Trayon Henderson, and Mbeka Mbuka. So lots of guys who've done it for Colin. Congrats. 5 people have done it, but 40.5, I believe, was the lowest of the 5s. All right, moving on to number 3, and that's me. I also had 5 guys. Brock Bowers was my highest, beating Colin by a few points, so 43.3. Into the bronze medal position for me, JSN, Puka Nacua, Josh Jacobs, and sadly my IR Cam Scadaboo. Pretty formidable team here if I had all these guys healthy right now, but I don't. But they have all scored over 30 points. Josh Jacobs won me the week doing it with 32, and those other guys are just absolute studs, so that gives me the bronze medal position. Moving along to silver, and this one pains me because that guy there in the top right corner, Jahmyr Gibbs, who did it this past week, 55.4, didn't get him the win, which would have then allowed him to stay on Team Kink AI'd. Instead, he moves on to Ryan's team, but not for the sake of this video, and absolutely crushed it this week. Other guys gone over: Drake London, Bo Nix, Caleb Williams, which is still shocking to me. I will continue to be on the Caleb Williams hate train, and Breece Hall, who I'm pretty sure did it with a passing touchdown against the Bengals in just hilarious Bengals fashion. Anyway, that leaves us to number 1, and this one it couldn't be more clear cut, and makes sense based on how many points he had been racking off week after week. Back to his way too comfortable position at the top of the poll is Matty Buckets. And if you're counting heads on the screen, don't include Matt in mine, although we are studs who could definitely score more than 30 points. 7. Matt has 7 guys. Jonathan Taylor obviously being his biggest one, 50.6, even though that happened when he was on Chris's team. Amon-Ra, James Cook, Saquon Barkley, T. Higgins, Kenneth Gainwell of all people. Like, he's gotten number 2 receivers, number 3 running backs, I think technically for Pittsburgh at the time, and Kyren Williams, who he traded for. I don't know, good trading, good drafting, whatever it is, but Matt's had 7 guys who have gone over. So congrats to Matt, leader of the power rankings again. I'm sad that the view behind me is only my view for about another day. But hey, here we are, and that's Week 12 power rankings. All the best in the last week of the regular season, gentlemen, and we'll see you in that weird middle week between regular season playoffs. So all the best. Cheers, boys.